Welcome to Survival the Beardist. If you're new around here, my family and I live in this cabin we built for about 40 grand 3 years ago. Also bought this land I'm on without a realtor in a non-conventional way. So I figured I'd share with everybody, given how hard it is to buy land these days, what we did, and maybe it can help you. So if you're looking for land and it's just too hard to find because you get it at bidding wars or there's not as much for sale anymore, try this method. Think about where you want to be in life. Once your location is figured out, get a plot map of the area. They used to put them in books. Now you can find it online. It's usually on like a GIS website of a county. You can just do a search of the area. If you want big acreage or small acreage, you can see essentially what everybody owns. And then you can click on it and it'll tell you who owns it, where the lot lines are, and what the acreage is. And if there's people that own land out in the middle of nowhere they're not using, write them a letter or go knock on their door and see if they'll sell it. That's how I obtained this piece of property that I'm on now. I did a search, I figured out who owned it. Luckily I knew the guy beforehand, which helped me. But even if I didn't, I would still try this method. I knocked on his door and I said, hey, I'm looking for land. I really need land. There's nothing for sale. There used to be land for sale 10 years ago all the time and it was super cheap, but times have sure changed since then. But I was lucky enough to purchase this piece of property without it even going on the market. I didn't get into any bidding wars. I didn't have any competition. And the person who sold to me was happy because, you know, they knew who their land was going to. So that's a pretty cool method to do that. Some other advantages to this are if you have to borrow money to get land, you might be able to do like a contract for deed instead of a traditional mortgage. Now there's pros and cons to that. You'll have to do your own research. The biggest con is if you don't pay it one time, I think they can just take it back from you. So if you're one of those people that doesn't make payments, a CD is not going to be for you. But if you make your payments, you might save a bunch of money on interest, because interest is through the roof right now, especially if you finance land. If you buy just land and it's over 5 acres, it's unfair that a homesteader gets picked on if they borrow money, I think. But interest rates are way higher for just land. Some other advantages to using this method, not only for just simply purchasing a house, but you're going to build relationships with people around you. Now, when you live out in the sticks like I do, it's good to know your neighbors, because if I need something, I can just simply call one of my neighbors, and I've helped them enough times. Not that I want help in return, but I get help back pretty easy. Like I plow my neighbor's driveway. I don't charge them anything. Like I said, it's not for me to get stuff, but I do stuff for them. And then, you know, if I need help, I'm able to call them and they, you know, give help back. But if you know where you're going to live and you just start making these connections with people, it's going to help to build your community in that area. For instance, if you need meat, you'll know who the farmer is down the road who has beef. And when beef's going for $8 in the store per pound for the bad beef, well, maybe you can buy fresh organic meat from that farmer for the same price. I just got off the phone with my local butcher. I just ordered a whole hog. I'm going to pick it up next week. Super excited because it's coming from a local farmer. Like I know where my pork is coming from. I know that it's going to be good. Building these relationships is a good thing. Most people, I think my age and younger, they're just not talking to people enough anymore. There was a time that families would sit out on their front porch and they would say hi to their neighbors and they would interact with people. They wouldn't always be scrolling, you know, when they're going through the store or whatever. Like they would actually interact with people. Don't be afraid to interact with people. Don't be afraid to knock on somebody's door who owns a couple 100 acres and be like, hey, would you ever consider selling me land? a lot of old school people like that, and they respect that, especially if you're younger. I mean, try this method to get land. Think about it. It benefits the seller. You can let them know, because they don't need a realtor. I'm not anti-realtor. I've used them before, but if I go out and I find property myself that I want to buy, and I've negotiated the price with the seller and worked everything out, why would I pay a realtor almost 6% of the purchase price? Now it's the seller that pays that realtor. So you can let them know, you know, if they're kind of on the fence, or maybe they have some interest but they're not thinking about it, let them know there's some advantages too if they just buy privately from you. You can still use a closing company and that type of thing without a realtor, and it's not that hard. At least in my state, I've done it over 2 times without a realtor. Once we just hand wrote, no, 3 times I guess, we just hand wrote a purchase agreement on a sheet of paper that said, I blah 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 agree to buy said property for blah blah blah, and that was the extent of the contract. It's not that hard. If you're looking for land, try this method. Go out, make some connections, talk to some people. It worked for me, and it's worked for me more than once, and I know it can work for you. And if you knock on enough doors, somebody will sell you something. This is Survival the Beardist. We'll catch you in the next video.